everyone. Welcome to this episode of What's Up with FL. We are an EO SAFL podcast where we talk about a wide range of topics that concern the FL community. So, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about venturing into the family business as second, third generation. My name is Priyanshi Gawarvala. I'm the chair for podcasts and mentorships this year. I've just recently started a consulting firm of my own with my father, Red Envelope Consultants, and I'm really excited to talk to you today. Just let you all introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Sharmila. I joined my family business about 14 years ago. We are into manufacturing of lighting fixtures based out of Chennai, and it is a 47-year-old company. It's been a great journey so far.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Lakshmipathy. Me and my brother joined the business at the same period, 2004-2005. We are into chemical distribution initially when we joined. Over a period of time, I think me and my brother started a logistics business. We also have two D2C brand, which is one is into floor cleaning, home hygiene products, and also into textile.
Hi, I'm Dave. It's been almost 3 years since I joined my family business after completing my undergrad. We are a 55-year-old company and we're into manufacturing of finished formulations of injections, tablets, ointments, capsules, eye drops, and dry injections. We mostly are into exports. And since I've been involved into work, I have been working on building a domestic presence as well and working on many new verticals in the business since I've joined.
Hi, I'm Sanjana. I'm from Pune and I joined my family business a year and a half ago after doing my undergrad from Warwick Business School and then a 2-year stint at Accenture as a tech and management consultant. So currently in my family business, I'm looking at HR, digital transformation and export sales. We are into manufacturing of wires, particularly zinc aluminum, aluminum and solder wires. And it's been an exciting ride so far.
I'm just very curious, why did you decide to join the family business?
I think for starters, I've always been around my family business. So I remember a lot of the summer vacations, I'd go into the company and look at different parts of the job. And it was something that always inspired me and sparked curiosity in me, which is why in university, a lot of the project-based modules I undertook would be centered around the family business. So maybe a case study from the family business or some topic which was kind of related to the family business, which kind of gave me this sense that I always wanted to be a part of the family business. And then I have seen my dad pour his entire heart and soul into building this company from ground up. So for him to be able to take this company to the second largest zinc and zinc aluminum producer globally was something I was really proud of. And I wanted to contribute to this legacy and help grow it even further.
Nice.
What about you?
So there were quite a few reasons I decided on joining my family business. First and foremost, I feel being a single child, I always felt that sort of responsibility on me to take forward my family legacy. Secondly, I think it's not just about that obligation. I've been being grown up around my grandfather and father who started this company. And just being in that atmosphere, I felt that the pharmaceutical industry is really fascinating. What was really intriguing is that our products directly have an impact on human health and well-being. So that was one of the major reasons why I decided on joining this business.
Awesome.
For me, I didn't have a much of choice. I think my father was very clear that both the son has to join the family business. It is not that he has been telling a story how good is when you join the business, how the legacy can continue, how interesting is business. I think this from younger age we were able to hear this. That made it very easy. Also, when I asked my father, now he will tell, for selfish reason, I didn't send you abroad for studies. He wanted us to be in the family business. That's my story.
Yeah, for me, it is a complete U-turn. So I finished kind of college. I was kind of a rebel. I wanted to kind of do design, and being Marwadi's design was like, not happening. So I did my first stint when I was like 17. I joined work. So I did from 17 to 23 till I got married was my first stint in business. Then I got married and went outside the country, and I was there for about 13 years where I had a chance to kind of explore and start my own businesses, and then decided that, okay, when I had my kids, I wanted them to grow in India, and I wanted this value system, not a confused value system. That's my ethos again, speaking for me, and it propelled me to come back to India, and that is when I joined the company I currently work in, Klite. So it's been an interesting journey. I call myself an accidental entrepreneur into lighting on the second stint because it was by default that, that's business, and then, who's going to take it forward, and then you step in. But it's been a great journey so far.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. So, Sharmila and Lakshmipathy, you are veterans in joining your family business. You've been in there for more than 20 years. But Dev and Sanjana, you both are fairly new to it. Can you tell us a little bit about like what some fears you might have had or some challenges that you face right now?
I think one of the biggest challenges I faced was nepotism. So a lot of people in the company, the employees, didn't see me as somebody who was there to contribute, who had her ideas through a backing, but saw me as this 25-year-old brat who had just inherited the title. And I think it was about working through that and kind of proving myself. But a lot of the times, even though I was trying to prove myself and bring new ideas to the table, it was kind of difficult for people to see that value. And then even with clients, I remember I went in for a meeting and one of the clients looks at me and says, "Is your company involved in child labor?" Can you believe like how frustrating that was? It was like no matter how prepared I was, they saw me as this young lady who had no business being in the room with them. So that was another thing. And then I think the worst experience to make all of this worse has been that I don't hail from a technical background, and our family business is a very technical product. So even some of our own engineers would say things like, leave that to the engineers. And I wanted to kind of prove to them that even though I might not be a technical expert, I can still bring value to the table. So I would say all these challenges have been like a fear and also a conflict with somebody else where it's kind of wanting to prove your place in the family business.
So there were a few challenges for me initially when I joined. Starting off with my grandfather being a bachelor's in pharma and a major in pharmaceuticals, and my dad being not from the technical background but a 30 years hands-on experience, and me not being from the technical background. That was the standards set by my grandfather and father were really high for me, and the expectations were high. So that was a fear for me, which I wanted to level up to those expectations which were from me. One of the key fears which I had was gaining trust and respect from employees who have been working with us for decades now, and I just didn't want to seem like a new person who's not wanting to learn from them. I actually wanted to work together with them and learn from them while implementing some new standards in the company. These were the initial challenges which I have been facing. Now, since I've gained more experience in the industry and I know the industry better, there are a few more challenges which I have been facing, particularly from the pharmaceutical industry. I feel like scaling up in the pharmaceutical industry is a really big hurdle. If, for example, if you want to come out with any new product for the US or the Europe market, it is day one until year three, since it takes that long of a time for you to finally launch that product. And there are many hurdles on the way and many inspections to be triggered, many audits to be done. So that is one of the primary challenge I've been facing recently. And I feel that there is a lot of time, financial investments involved in that process. And aiming for growth with that level of compliance is a difficult thing.
Right. So you mentioned that, you wanted to really work with the more experienced people, and that might be in age or in the technical knowledge whatsoever. How did you kind of navigate that initial resistance and kind of get their respect, get their buy-in into your role at the company?
So I feel that it had been really a roller coaster of emotions for me, particularly when I joined, because the employees looking at me as the boss's son, I didn't really want that. I wanted to work together with them in order to learn better. I worked on the shop floor with them for quite a few months, and I did attend many industry workshops with my team in order to me to learn what they are doing and to get hands on with what they do daily. So that is how I navigated through that, and I have been gaining a lot more confidence in them, and they have been having a lot more confidence in me since I've been doing that. So it's been going great since I.
It's like a two-way street.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Sanjana?
So very similar to Dave, when I realized that the top management level positions weren't really understanding or respecting my ideas, what I decided was to change things a bit and go to the factory floor. When I spoke to the workers there, I actually gained very valuable insights. They had suggestions that were a lot of times lost in the levels, and when I basically collaborated with them and trialed my ideas also through them, it created positive feedback. And I think it was this ripple effect which kind of helped me gain confidence. Similarly, in sales, we've had, our sales team working with us for about 20-25 years now. I have literally seen them, I have grown up seeing them contribute to the organization. So they were pretty set on their approach. I wanted to try things in a different way, and they were kind of resistant to that change. So I thought that, you know what, why not just try this out? And I was very open to the idea that it might fail. But I think, touch wood, to my surprise, even it worked, and it worked really well. That helped me gain some confidence within my members. And then to add on, I think as I added more sales to the company, as I got more growth in, it kind of helped create this change where the initial perception that, oh, she's just just her father's daughter, kind of changed, and it moved to more, she is more capable.
Yeah, I feel like earning respect just takes time, and you just have to like prove it through work and collaborating with others. Like ego would just not have space in that.
Yeah.
But you all must have like faced the same issues, right? Like when you first joined.
Yeah, initially when I joined, it was during the training period where it has been very difficult for us. Everybody would be busy. So it was very difficult. But once I started taking responsibility for a small division, that gave me a lot of insights and also trust in the company. Once the trust comes, then people believe you. So this is that has worked for me.
And how did you go about building that trust? Like, is it something that you just learn everything about the company, try to prove yourself? Like, how did that go for you?
One or two ideas which are very valid, which they were able to see this, then it became very easy.
Got it. So, like in terms of a timeline, obviously, like it's different for each person and depends on the company also. But like, how long do you think it usually takes?
So for me, it took about a year and a half to get to that place.
Okay. So after that point, did you feel like you still had to kind of earn respect for other people? Or? No.
Not like that. Not really like that. It all fell in place. For me, especially what advantage me or my brother had is, my father gave a lot of free hands for us to start new division or explore new things. The way he has given for other employees. Second, my father has built in a lot of trustworthy people. There are a lot of basic things which we even see today. Even for my main company, I'm not the check signing authorities. There are people who does it. There are a lot of basic things were taken care. So me and my brother started focusing on more on development. That has helped us actually to grow.
Got it. What about you?
So it's been an interesting journey, and I think both my stints in India have a very, very similar story. The point is that whenever you go as the owner's daughter or owner's son, I think there is a certain amount of respect that you expect that you will get for your work, but your work is kind of undermined initially because they are like, oh, she's fresh off the block. In different languages, it will be told differently. Let's see how long she lasts or he lasts, and let's test the waters. And obviously, starting in college and coming into the real world is two different experiences that you have. So for me personally, I would agree with Lakshmi. I have a father who is very, I'm blessed with, who I work with still, who is extremely encouraging and extremely, easy to work along with. So that has been a great boon because, sometimes when your long-term employees, they start playing games, right? They say this say that, it becomes like a game. So I think having that sorted and being very clear about this is your idea, this is your plan, and though it might be short down, because to me, I think winning the respect and trust of my father was a bigger hurdle for him to let go of certain decisions and be okay than it was for my, working with my people.
Got it.
Because I think if I had his respect, this was a byproduct of it. I think that was my first thing. And if I were to add, I think second thing that I learned on very early, and I think obviously staying out of the country and starting to do everything from scratch, not knowing or having any legacy or, so-called setup, lets you like roll up your sleeves and get down to the floor. And you have no qualms about it, right? It doesn't matter. So that helped me. So what helped me was that the ability to be able to remove hierarchy from my system and not think that I'm the boss's daughter. I will just go to the line. I said, I'm going to assemble this product now. And it didn't matter. I would just push people I would stand in and I would stand with them and do it. And I said, if I can't do it, how can they do it? Right? So I think that hands-on experience also helped me. And they felt that, okay, you know what? If she doesn't know it, she has the ability of coming to the line and learning it. So just cutting down that barriers really helped me. And being able to have a very open door and a flat policy of the organization actually helped me learn a lot from them. So I think it is a two-way street.
Yeah, and you also had experience in like abroad, just like starting your own businesses from scratch. So that also builds credibility, but also you have your own confidence and you kind of like build your own ways of doing things, which probably you could now bring to your family business, right?
Absolutely. So what really helps is that though you're not technical, though you may not be savvy, though you may not be, know the know-how of the actual working business, what really helps is that grit, that faith, and that perseverance. And one or two success is like have a snowballing effect. It's first one set of people and then the second set. And small victories also make you confident on your next decision and your next decision and your next decision. And by the time in a couple of years, you have your whole team backing you up. And that's just an amazing feeling. I tell that to my kids that, it's great. You are handed over a platform which most people like you're blessed. Not very many people, we are all fortunate sitting here that we have businesses that are already sorted and we are just looking at growth and scaling and new markets and things like that. But I always tell them that it is extremely important to command respect. Don't demand respect with your title, right? And commanding respect is a very individual trait, not a legacy trait.
Yeah.
You can command respect only by who you are and how you conduct yourself and how you're willing to work with them rather than, trying to say that, hey, this is my place, that is your place. that thing, if it's kind of like mellowed down, we still have to keep parameters and boundaries, otherwise it can go a little overboard. But for me, I think these few things have kind of worked.
Yeah, like you don't just get respect because you are the child of somebody who has respect. But you did touch upon something, working with your father. I'm very curious about like how people juggle that familial aspect with professionalism, because when you're working with family, you can like behave differently than you would with like a business partner who's not your family. So Lakshmipathy, like you joined the business with your brother, right? And you still kind of report to your father in some ways. So how is that for you?
I think see, all three of us have three divisions that we handle. I think my father, over a period of last 15 years, he has been more working on social initiatives rather than working on business. He also comes, but more he is on socially. He heads CIA for certain region. When you are given a separate division to work, then the freedom is like running your own business. For us, he's a fallback. Anything that we want, we go check with him because experience he has. Um, that has helped us. Having segregation of duties, responsibility has helped us. One more point which I'd like to mention is every Wednesday we meet for 1 hour. My brother, my father. I think there are. It's not we update what's happening and things like that. We make it mandatory whenever we are there in town. That helped us to basically be in sync.
Regular check-ins.
One more common point which I on the first question that you asked is, I think most of us have got the success working grounds up. That has been the common between all four of us.
Yeah, but also taking forward to what you said about working with a brother and father and having those regular check-ins and stuff. I want to ask you, Dave, like, do you feel like now it's a little different working with your father, older generation, because now we've been introduced with work from home and there's so many tech gadgets and like just how you work, like does that create any conflict? Like, how do you approach that?
I think I really very well resonate with that question because I remember that when I'd gotten into my family business and I was just back from the UK, and I was used to the culture seeing that Saturdays are going to be off and you will be at home. And I remember joining my family business and I was like, Dad, I'm just going to work from home and on Saturdays. And he was like, this is India beta, ab chalo kaam pe. And it was really that moment for me. It did take me a lot of time to adjust with this working culture, with what I had been looking at. But yeah, I did obviously know that this is how it is going to be when I'm back. And yes, I feel that it's really, it used to be a concern for me. So we are three generations working in the same business. It's me, my grandfather, and my father. And everyone's insights, their perspectives, and values that they bring to the table are really very different. And just very different from that of mine. Because if, for example, we are planning like, a strategy to maybe develop a new product or get into a new market, my father might have a traditional strategy, my grandfather might have an even more traditional strategy. But I really feel that it's important that we sit out. That's what we do now, is that we analytically analyze the pros and cons of all of our inputs, just to avoid conflicts in anything. And yeah, with the terms of the work culture being online, working from home, is really a good thing which has been started. But I really believe that working from office gives me that satisfaction that I have completed my day well. So that's not what I've been getting into, but I have been trying to automate a lot of things in our industry so that people, in our company can do that at their convenience.
Do the rest of you feel that in your work, in your organization, the difference of like how people work now?
After COVID, I think as a company, we are not very strict on attendance on certain position. But if there is at a lower level position, a sales executive, he has to come and work. For last 40 years, we have been working till all Saturdays. I think today's generation has changed. Today, we are a great place to work certified company.
Congratulations.
Out of 10 queries, 3 queries is when are you giving Saturday holiday? I think we have made a choice that at least one Saturday in a month we give holiday.
Fair.
Things are changing.
Things are changing, yeah. But I feel like that generation difference is always going to be there in family business, because there's always going to be a newer generation, and the kind of problems that the current generation faces, it must be different from what you guys faced when you joined. So I want to also tap into what those conflicts were with your parents, your other relatives within the organization as well.
For me, I am blessed. I didn't have any relatives.
As your father and brother.
Father and brother, I think for me it was very smooth. I think there's not made much of an. Yeah, there are conflict of ideas, but what one thing that we make is we also tell why this idea would work. We debate. We give importance to whether this idea is good for the company, rather than he has said this, so it may not be right. So each person are different. Their viewpoints are much better. Once you are able to decide, once you are able to get their idea and decide, I think it is good for the company. Company is more important. That is what I feel. Because we have about 1,200 people working. Company is more important.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, with conflict, I mean, I do mean difference of opinion, because that's always going to happen no matter what organization. But it's particularly interesting because it's with family, but in a professional setting. So navigating that is always, in my mind, it's very tricky. So just wondering how, you guys did it.
So, just adding on to both those points, the first point is that the world has changed, things have changed, but the product companies still need people in the factory to make the product. They can't do that VO. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So we are obviously manufacturing of chemicals, doing, for example, soldering wire. So making this equipment for medical or pharma. You need bodies in the factory. You can't say I'm going to work VO today. So, it's only applicable to that, one segment, maybe single or very low double digit number, like 10% or 12% that can have that option of working VO and doing stuff. So that is one part of it. Second, I think we are just social beings, human beings. We just perform better. We are able to brainstorm better. We are able to articulate better when we are together at work. So though the culture went off in between due to COVID, I think it's coming back even stronger, where people now want collaborative spaces rather than desks. You see the biggest IT firms, you see that the spaces have become more collaborative rather than, this is your desk, this is your space, and this is your cubicle, and that's it. So I think just the way human beings are, we do better when we collaborate, and collaboration happens in person a lot better. There might be a difference of opinion, I feel, but then that doesn't matter. It's been there for centuries, and it's going to continue way beyond us, because generation gaps are getting smaller and smaller, and technology makes this, what was 10 years now is 5 years, and it makes it, I think it also makes it easier for a lot of people to be able to be in touch, to be able to communicate, to be able to get certain things done much more efficiently and effectively than the day of fax, and then you need to make that ring call and wait on the call. I'm just talking about how I've seen things and what I see today, the ease of doing business. So I think both have merits, but it just really depends upon what works for you, what doesn't work for you.
Fair. Sanjana, anything to add?
Yeah, so I think it's been a little different. I wouldn't get on too much on the, working from home versus virtually. For us, like Sharmila said, it's a factory at the end of the day. You have to kind of show up and do the production on the floor. For some of the sales executives or the higher positions, say VP, CEOs, we do offer that flexibility because now, they've also gained this trust in the company, and we have this score making, like, we have this score system in the company which helps us evaluate whether someone's working or not. But I think in our case, what's been like a difference in new versus old ways is when we try to introduce a new technology, there's actually been resistance. So, for example, I took on this project of implementing a new CRM and ERP system. And what that meant initially was that the employees would have to do like a parallel run. They'd have to learn the new system and also operate with the old system. So initially, that was they weren't thrilled about it, and I think fairly so. But I think when I actually sat down with each department, really broke down what the system is going to benefit for them, how their day-to-day tasks are going to get simpler and easier. I think that resistance kind of changed into adapting to the system and appreciating it. And same with like a small thing like ChatGPT, right? So when it first came in, I think a lot of the people were worried. They were thinking, what is this? They had this small fear of the new system. And when I actually told them and encouraged them to use it, I got backlash saying, no, why do we need something to make our life easier in this way? And I thought, why not? But I think what helped was I took a couple of seminars on Saturdays. So Saturdays we have like this 1 hour of fun learning, something new to learn for everybody. And we did these fun ChatGPT seminars. So it wasn't anything work related. I did things like, you want to wish your daughter a birthday, ask GPT to kind of wish her a birthday, add your input, but also get some of those kind of fun things kind of help them break the ice, and then eventually they got more open to using the technology for everyday tasks as well.
That's a very good idea. Glad it worked out. I'm wondering if like any of you had sort of like a training path initially. So in our family business, so we exited the business now, but my grandfather was inspired by the Japanese and he created like this 9 month training program for like me and my cousin who may want to join the business. So I'm just curious, like, is that something that you guys did in your family or like want to do in the future as well?
I think for me, it was not structured. As and when you go, you learn kind of thing. I think bringing structure would be much better for the next generation to come. More guidance could be better.
I think I agree with Lakshmi on that one. Ours was like when I moved back to India, I said that I want to go back to Harvard for management, any excuse to go back. And he never goes to a bookstore. He went to a bookstore and bought me the Harvard manual. He said, when you implemented everything in this, you can go, which means it ain't happening. And he told me one very valuable lesson. He said, sweetheart, in business, every day is a learning. And you pay for that learning. Either you're learning or you're paying. So you decide. And I think that's a very, very valuable insight onto it. As to, learning on in a college vis-a-vis learning in actual work environment, where every decision of you actually affects the top line or the bottom line in minuscule ways or significant ways, depending upon how impactful your decision is. I think that is there. But coming back to what Shmi had just mentioned, I think it is very important that now that we have kids who probably will at some point, we are hoping join the family business, we would like to induct them formally because it is a much better way where they learn the ropes from bottom up. So they understand the pulse of the business rather than top-down approach. And learning at that point is critical because what they are inheriting is a much larger share of business vis-a-vis a small mom and pop shop where they can afford to learn and make those mistakes. Right? There are too many lives at stake. There are 1,200 people. So imagine if you just come on the top and then start making decisions. right? Or, for a matter of fact, whatever businesses you are. So even you are trying to kind of like learn the ropes from below, make small changes, and then, map your way up to the top.
Yeah.
So I think these,
It would definitely help.
yeah, these should.
I feel I feel personally it's really important as you get into a family business to have a structured learning. Um, for my case, I didn't have a structured learning. I wanted to, but my dad was like, I want you to go to every department. I won't give you a structure at all. And it's just every day, every department, everything you can get from them, just get it to me. But I feel what I would have done differently for my future generation is that I would have given them a structure. And definitely what I would have done in that case is, with this generational gap being there, I would have definitely been open to hear the questions my future generation would have, and also start a pilot project for them if that is required, which won't hamper with the current operations, because I feel it's really important, as you also said, sir, that your father had given you a separate vertical to handle. I feel it's really important, and that's what I have been doing for that. So since now I have a hold on exports, I started this initiative with my dad that I want to build a domestic presence now, and that's just going to be my part of it, with no other interruptions from any other department. So I feel that's really important.
So for me, my father had this condition that unless you work somewhere else, you're not joining the family business. So I think that was also one of the reasons that I did do a job outside in the UK. And I think it was when he realized that I have started excelling at my work that he kind of put this hook to get me back. So what exactly happened was I got a really, really big promotion at Accenture, and I called my father very excitedly that, I've got this promotion, but the only hook there is that I have to sign a contract for 1 year on a minimum to work with them. And that's when my father said that we have two options here. You either take on this promotion, or if you want to join the family business, you can. But I am at this point where we can double capacity right now. And I'm only going to be doing that if you're going to be joining the family business. And at that point, I was like, you know what, the opportunity in India is much larger. So let's just go back. So that's how I decided. That was the moment I decided to get back. And when I was coming back, I told my father that, you know what, because I'm joining the business, I want to learn from you. And because I want to learn from you, I would make a humble request if you can come to the factory twice a week. And when I was in the UK, he's like, yeah, I'll come, come back first. As soon as I joined the family business, he came on the first day when I, went to the factory. He came with me and he told everybody that, she is thinking of joining the family business, help her, support her in learning and train her the way you trained all the other people who come onto the company. And then straight for 3 months, he just disappeared. He literally did not step foot in the factory. And a lot of times, when I was facing issues, I would call him in the middle of the workday and he would cut my call, knowing that I'm calling for a solution. Or I remember this one time I went home and I had a really, really bad day at work and I started crying. And when he saw me crying, he looks at me, he goes like, learn industrial psychology and talk to me. So I think his, approach has been really hands-off and free. He believes that push someone in the water and let them learn how to swim.
Yeah.
And I think it has helped because I've kind of discovered how to, find my own path and reinvent myself in a different way. So I don't know. I can't comment on whether I'd want a structure or not for the future generation yet.
Shamil, I think you also, when we talked previously, you had said that your father has done something similar, right? Like that you make your own mistakes.
Oh yeah. So that was in my first-hand experience that I took an order and I promised that I'm going to deliver. Within 8 week में हो जाएगा, कर लेंगे हम कैसे भी fit कर लेंगे, like we'll finish it, we'll figure it out. And he's like, he didn't even tell me that don't take the order, it ain't happening, right? So he just let me do, and then yeah, like you said, I was in the factory till 4 a.m., 3 a.m. He had people staying there, but he said it's your commitment, you stand it out. And when I used to sit in the office and I used to say, they are not working, his simple thing was, that is why you're sitting here, they are sitting there. Get up, get it done. So it was very matter of fact, no ego. Even if you had a little bit, he had a beautiful way of getting you back to the ground. He's like, when you said up, you get upset, you get angry, and when you have been, you're blessed with everything and you've been given a gold and silver, whatever spoon you want to call, you sometimes say like, why didn't you do this work? And he's overlooking my shoulder and he's saying, and this is one lesson from my father I will never forget. And he asked me to get something done, and I kind of I didn't want to go down one flight of stairs and said, so I was like screaming over, hey, come here and tell me what the answer is, because Mr. Kumbhat is asking. And I didn't know that he's standing right behind me, right? And then he just tapped me and he told me one very valuable lesson, which I will not forget. He's like, in life, you are in this position and he's in that position. Remember, this can change. So talk to everybody with respect. And that was like almost like settling in, So then there is no equation of, I am somebody or somebody. We are all human beings. Ultimately, you want respect, I want respect. You want love, I want love. You want money, I want money. Just our proportions are different. That's it. And I think that was a leveling lesson coming from Papa. And as far as holidays and what we spoke about, Saturdays and all of that, this man comes to work on Sundays, so forget it. I'm going to be like
So
the
you
queen
also work on Sunday?
No, I've managed to just put blinders on and it's like I don't even see this. But yeah, you can find him at work every Sunday, other than the fact that it is a bun, where it is a curfew that he can't get out. You will see him in the factory. Like, it's okay. It's too difficult to fill his shoes. So I kept his shoes on the side and I walk on the side. So I created my own.
You have your own shoes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I've kind of become very comfortable in it. I'm like, I think you can't fill in this. You do what little you can. I kind of feel like Queen Elizabeth and Prince Charles. She was the queen till this guy was 80. And मेरा भी कुछ वैसा ही हाल रहने वाला. I made my terms with it. So yeah, that is the fun part of working with family, is that you have these lighter moments and some life lessons along the way.
Yeah, for sure. I read about this recently, and it not be 100% factual, but the founder of Gucci had 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter, I think, and he very famously did not let the daughter own a part of Gucci, even though the 3 of them worked for Gucci all their lives. And I'm talking about this now because I have also heard and I've seen in many places that family business may the daughter doesn't get a place. Maybe the son-in-law will come or whatever that may be. But I wanted to kind of touch into that topic because many women are joining business or have joined, you've joined. So I wanted to kind of ask the both of you, Sanjana and Sharmila, what's your experience been like? What do you think families should think about, or women should think about, as they're thinking of joining their family business?
I love to hear from Sanjana because I'm looking at my future on here.
I would say that I know that gender discrimination does exist, but I think it should not exist. It doesn't kind of make a difference really, and I have been fortunate not to face any such thing with work or with my family or anything in that sense. So it's been good, but sometimes you get this question that, oh, you'll get married and go to a different place, so what are you going to do? I think that is one thing, but in this time and age, I think it's about adapting to the system and learning how to manage a business from wherever you are. I think you can always make systems and decisions no matter where you are. And so I think it shouldn't be a barrier as to who should join or shouldn't join a business.
Yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes even if it doesn't come from the family, it may come from the people you work with, the employees or whatever. It may feel like I've heard this exact term that ये तो hobby project होगा उसका, like it's not taken seriously. Whereas if it was a son, it would be like this is his right, this is like for him to take on.
I think things are also changing.
Definitely.
We never used to have so much women in work. Now things have also changed. My wife, my father-in-law has 2 daughters. Both of them are coming to the business. He has about 5,000 employees. He does garment export. So both of them are coming to the business.
Wonderful. That's very good to hear.
So for me, my experience is totally different. I'll just rest my case that we have 4 girls and Marwari family. So, having said that, I think a context is already set as to, we are groomed and we get married and then we become homemakers. But I was very blessed that my father was very forward thinking and my mom also did her master's in psychology. So we were 4 girls, but they never raised us with any form of confining, thought process. Any, whether it was stage performance, debates, dramatics, rangoli, mehendi, every competition we were up and about. So we were never like, कि नहीं ये नहीं कर सकते हो तुम लड़की हो ये नहीं कर सकते हो तुम लड़के हो so that was never the case. And I think there is discrimination, but since we were never taught to look at it, I think you just kind of go blank. You don't even look at it, this woman empowerment and all of that, because karna hai kar lo yaar. Why raise big noise about it? That was what Dad said. You want to do it, and he just believed in us and gave us right through. So all my sisters are into business. My sister in US was running her office. My sister in UK is doing real estate. I'm here. My elder sister is into business. So I think times are changing. I think if half our GDP is sitting at home, think about the possibilities of India. And I think women do get a lot of a different flavor into business. They get they get a different thought process. You can shoot it down, but it's a different thought process worth thinking about or pondering about or even deliberating about, right? So I think it is an amazing opportunity, and I would like my daughter. I'm blessed with a daughter and 2 boys. So talking about fairness, I would absolutely give all 3 of them the same platform. And it won't be like my boys get more and my daughter gets less, because I think we are all individuals and they should all have a fair shot at what they do.
So if there were any things you wanted to tell the next generation, or I don't know, like plan for the next generation within your own organizations, like just briefly we'll go around and wrap with that. Like if there was one thing that you wanted to change or kind of do for the next generation, what would that be? We can start with you.
I think for me, when the next generation joins, I would prefer them to work in a company which is almost about 60 or 70 years more older companies, to get a flavor of how working in a cultured company would be. Then
you mean like outside the family
outside the business. Then when they come in, I think initial bit of training, and after that, I would either they could start the business on their own, or they could take any one of the division and grow it further. One thing which I would do is I will ask them to work on projects which is initially projects which could give them revenue or profit, not on spending on expense.
Right.
So that the initial thing is very, it's good for them.
Right. So they should join in a place they could make a difference rather than create expenses for the company.
Create expense for the companies. And it will also be well respected in the company. He has improved the profitability of a division, of a showroom. That's my thought about it.
I think I definitely, it is definitely too early for me to say for my next generation to get into business. By then, things would have changed leaps and bounds. But I would definitely encourage them, and I'd foster an environment wherein they just are. They just have that thought that this fresh perspective is important for the business, and it can actually add value to the business, because it's not that any business running traditionally can't run with fresh perspectives. I feel that's always a very good thing. I definitely want them to have a structure wherein they work with the employees on the shop floor, and they just because as we spoke about, it's everything ground up. And I think the people who have worked on the shop floor know everything, and it's just that the next generation, they should know how to maybe get things done, or be in an environment where it's just everything should be done by them, and that's what I'd want to put into them.
A hands-on experience.
Yes, a hands-on experience.
So I think I'm too young to be thinking about the next generation, how I would want to incubate them. In all honesty, I think I will get to that in a few years. But I would say for anybody who wants to join their family business, I think from my experience, what I've learned is that it's important to show up and confront these perceptions or judgments head on. And while you're at it, just have a healthy mix of, I would say, like jugaad and drive in you, and it will work out.
Yeah, for me, it's. I can just look at three of you, Dave, Sanjana, and Priyanshi, and I think there's a promising future. I think you guys are the future. You're just joining your family businesses, and I feel that it's going to capable hands, which makes people like us believe that things are going to be in right hands. I think the generation now is a lot more smarter and a lot more clearer on what not to do and what to do. They have a lot more, I would say, knowledgeable, or if they don't know something, they know where to find it and how to find it. And I think from my perspective, I would probably let them make a few mistakes so they can learn and learn from smaller mistakes rather than larger mistakes. I think they're in capable hands. I think the future is in good hands. And I think we just need to be, as a mother who probably would wish that her children would join her business sometime, I think being a guide for them and being a sounding board for them would be more like my way of doing it. But before they get in, they have to get 2 years of work experience. So there's a sense of entitlement has to kind of like a reality check as to what life can be like when you get a job. And when you walk into an organization where you're suddenly the madam or the boss, that humility. And I think the rest, this next generation has got it all sorted.
Awesome. Great. It was a great conversation with you all. So thank you all for coming. I learned a lot. I'm sure that other people who are listening and watching will also learn a lot. So thank you all for listening, watching today. We're working on another episode, so we'll come back soon. So subscribe and stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.